All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call Halayim Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakah Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. All right, so once again, I'm going to go into this book. All right, American Holocaust. All right, and then now this is going to be the third part. All right, because if you go on my YouTube channel, I had already done lessons on this book. All right, I have part 1 right here and part 2 right here. All right, and this video is going to be part 3. All right, and as you see, I did this 12 days ago, 2 weeks ago. All right, about because you had Columbus Day 2 weeks ago. All right, they give this man a holiday. All right, a special day, a so-called holiday, right? As if this man is something special, or as if he's to be reverenced or respected. Nah, this man was one of the greatest devils ever. All right, he's the devil that the Bible speaks of. He's an Edomite, man. All right, and everything that he has done, him and his army, his people. All right, when he came over here to the western hemisphere of the world, and all the atrocity, the great violent and cruel acts, all right, that he has done to the Israelites, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, when he came on the this side of the world, was very great, man. And this book goes into it. That's why it's called the American Holocaust. All right, so you know it goes into, this book goes into the great violent and cruel, all right, the great atrocities, all right, that Edom has done to the Israelites, the apple of the Lord's eye. All right, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, when he came to the Indies, all right, the islands of Hispaniola, all right, the island of Cuba, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Trinidad, all those Caribbean islands, all right, and Southern America, all right, Mexico, and Northern America, when he came over here, the great slaughter. All right, all those people are Israelites. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are Israelites. And Edom, he has never paid for what he has done to the Israelites throughout the course of history. But he is going to pay when Yahweh Shai comes back. Those who lead into captivity shall go into captivity. All right, that's Revelation 13 and 10. All right, so let's go into this book and do a part 3. All right, I suggest that you watch both of these videos because great information gets brought out in these videos, right? So this video is going to be a part 3. All right, it says Columbus and the Conquest of the New World, the American Holocaust. All right, so I left off at part 2. I left off at page 72. So I'm literally just gonna pick up right where I left off. So if you want, everything to make more sense, you just watch the videos. All right, the last videos. So I'm just gonna pick up, man. All right. So it says, all right, it says, but death seized these imported slaves as quickly as it had Hispaniola's natives. And thus the islands of the Bahamas were rapidly stripped of perhaps 500,000 people. Woo! All right. So 500,000 people, all right, of the island of the Bahamas, all right, which is you Benjaminites, all right. Those are Benjaminites, all right. The islands of the Bahamas were rapidly stripped of perhaps 500,000 people. So 500,000 people, all right, Just on the island of Bahamas, all right, Esau Edom has slaughtered, all right, Christopher Columbus, right? It says in large part for use as short-lived replacements by the Spanish for Hispaniola's nearly eradicated indigenous inhabitants. So he nearly eradicated, all right, the entire island of Hispaniola, all right, which those are Israelites from the tribe of Levi and of the tribe of Simeon, all right, the tribe of Simeon being you Dominicans, all right, and the tribe of Levi's you Haitians. Y'all both share that island today, right? So it says, and then Cuba. The Cubans are from the tribe of Manasseh, all right, and Manasseh and Ephraim are brothers, all right, which are the Puerto Ricans and Cubans. That's why they carry the same flag, right? See, that's spiritual, how the Lord set it up like that, all right, because in the Bible, all right, Ephraim, all right, the tribe of Ephraim is the Puerto Ricans, and the tribe of Manasseh are the Cubans, and Ephraim and Manasseh were brothers, and that's why they carry the same flag, just different colors, man. You see, that's spiritual. The Lord set it up like that. Those are clues, man. You know, it says then Cuba, all right, which is the Manassites, all right, then Cuba with its enormous population suffered the same fate, all right, eradication, all right. But the Lord said, if the scriptures say, if the Lord did not leave a small remnant, we would have been like unto Sodom and like unto Gomorrah, completely wiped off. But the Lord had mercy on his people, because the Lord promised Abraham that him and his seed, all right, shall receive the promised land, a land flowing with milk and honey. That's the kingdom of heaven, the Holy Land, right? So the Lord didn't eradicate us fully, man, all right, at any time. The Lord left us a small remnant to keep the nation of Israel going, right? Because he made a promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? So it says, then Cuba, with its enormous population, suffered the same fate, all right? With the Caribbeans, millions of native people thereby effectively liquidated in barely a quarter of a century. So it only took them 25 years. Bro, man, that's crazy, bro. Esau Edom, all he knows is bloodshed and genocide, right? When you go to Revelation, the 6th chapter, let's get it, right? Revelation, the 6th chapter, all right, it goes into the red horse. The red horse represents Esau, right? And it tells you that red horse, all right, him that sat on the red horse, all right, let's read it, all right? Revelation 6:3, it says, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see, all right? And there went out another horse that was red, all right? The red horse represents Esau. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And that's all Esau Edom has done. Take peace from this earth. All right? Starting with the elite banking families, because they create all the wars. The world wars, have that not taken peace from the earth? All the way up until this day, there's no peace on this earth. All right? That's why the scriptures say, all right, when the righteous, let's get it, when the righteous are in authority. I think that's Psalms 92, I think. Yeah, no, Psalms 29, Proverbs 29 and 2. All right. All right, Proverbs 29 and 2, it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And right now, the righteous are not in authority. All right, the wicked are in authority. Esau Edom. All right, the scriptures say, Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So right now, the wicked has the earth in their hands. All right, which is Esau Edom. All right, that's why wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, because the wicked is ruling. All right, Proverbs 29 and 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, and the people are going to rejoice. All right, when the righteous are back in authority, which is the nation of Israel. right? Because this earth is going to be under a righteous rule, all right, starting with Yahweh Shai, all right, because the kingdom of heaven, all right, which is the kingdom of Israel, all right, starts with Yahweh Shai. It's his kingdom and his rulership. He's just going to share his rulership with the rest of the elect, all right, his throne with the rest of the elect, all right. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And the wicked is ruling right now. Esau, Edom, they're known as the wicked race in the Bible, all right. And that's why all the earth is mourning. All the people of this earth are not at rest, man, all right. This whole earth is depressed. The earth itself is depressed and tired, all right. And the people of this earth are going to be happy as hell, all right, when we're back in power, in rulership, man, because there's going to be a righteous rule on this earth, a perfect righteous rule on this earth, all right. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. This whole earth is mourning right now, bro, because Esau, Edom is ruling, starting with the elites, the elite bankers, all right. So when you go back to Revelation 6 and 3, all right, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, which represents Esau, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. All right, with all these wars, all right, that Esau has created, all right, because all these wars are created by the Rothschilds, all right. All wars are bankers' wars, all right, that has took peace from the earth, all right. It says, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Yeah, that was Esau, Edom's blessing. All right, the sword. When you go back to Genesis, I think it's the 25th chapter, or the 27th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. The 27th chapter, around the 40th verse. All right, Isaac, the blessing that Isaac gave to Esau was the sword. All right, and that's why Esau, Edom rules the way he rules, because that was his blessing, the sword. All right, to rule with destruction and chaos. All right, that's why nothing but war is upon this earth under Esau, Edom's rule. That's all he knows is bloodshed. So when you go back to this book, all right, it says, with the Caribbeans, millions of native people thereby effectively liquidated in barely a quarter of a century. So just 25 years, Esau, Edom has destroyed a quarter of a million. All right, millions. No, million, not quarter of a millions. It says right here, millions, millions in just 25 years, slaughtered, right? And this is before World War One, World War Two, right? The type of bloodshed and slaughter that Esau, Edom has committed upon this earth throughout the course of history is very great. Very, very great. All right. That's why when Yahweh Shai comes back, all right, it tells you in the book of Revelations, all right, that the fire and brimstone has fell upon the third part of men, which is Esau. It has filled their bloodshed has filled all the way up to the horse's bridle. Right? So it says, dated in barely a quarter of a century, forced through the murderous vortex of Spanish savagery and greed. All right, so the Spaniards, the Caucasian men, Esau, Edom, right? All right, it says the slavers turned next to the smaller islands off the mainland coast. All right, the first raid took place in 1515. All right, when natives from Guanaja, all right, in the Bay Islands of Honduras were captured, all right, and taken to forced labor camps in depopulated Cuba. Other slave expeditions, all right, followed, and by 1525, when Cortez arrived in the region, all the Bay Islands themselves had been entirely shorn of their inhabitants. Yeah, they've been cut off. That's, bro. Do you understand what we're reading right now? Oh man. All right. And some of y'all, you coon ass Negroes and Hispanics, you coon Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans wanna still love this damn devil and think that he could be saved after what he did to the nation of Israel. The Lord said that He's gonna free us from all that have spoiled us. All right. It says, in order to exploit most fully the land and its populace, and to satisfy the increasingly dangerous and rebellion organizing ambitions of his well-armed Spanish troops, Columbus instituted a program called the Repartimentio, all right, or Indian grants, later referred to in a revised version, all right, as the system of uh, encomiendas, all right. Uh, this was a dividing up, not of the land, but of the entire people and communities, and the bestowal of them upon a would-be Spanish master. All right, the master was free to do what he wished with his people, yeah, his slaves. All right, have them plant, have them work in the mines, have them do anything, as Carl Sauer puts it, without limit or benefit of tenor. All right, the result was an even greater increase in cruelty and a magnification of the firestorm of human devastation. All right, that's, listen. Go back to Revelation 6:4. All right, and there was given unto him a great sword. When you go to the pale horse, the pale horse is also talking about Esau. It says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. That's all Esau Edom knows is death, right? He's that pale horse, and hell followed after him. Yeah, all he does is bring hell upon this earth. Look what we're reading. All right, do you comprehend or understand? All right, what we're reading. All right, it says, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. And that's all Esau Edom has ever done. All right, look what we're reading right here. All right, it says the result was an even greater increase in cruelty and a magnification of the firestorm of human devastation. All right, the devastation that he has brought to the Indies, Columbus, the Spaniards, is on a whole nother level of death and bloodshed, bro. All right. It says, caring only for short-term material wealth. Excuse me. It says, caring only for short-term material wealth that could be wrenched up from the earth, the Spanish overlords on Hispaniola removed their slaves to unfamiliar locals, all right, locales, all right. The roads to the mines were like ant hills, La Casas recalled, deprived them of food, all right. Did we not just read, right? That what? That he killed them with hunger, right? And with hunger, all right. To kill with the sword and with hunger. Right? As Esau Edom, right? Deprived them of food and forced them to work until they dropped. All right? At the mines and fields in which they labored, the Indians were herded. All right? They were herded together under the supervision of Spanish overseers. All right? Known as mineros. All right? Mineros, right? in the minds of my nettles, all right, in the mines and instaceros, instacieros, all right, on the plantations, all right, who treated the Indians with such rigor, all right, which they treated the Indians, the Israelites, all right, they treated the Israelites with such rigor and inhumanity that they seemed the very minister of hell. All right, that they seemed the very minister of hell, driving them day and night with beatings, kicks, lashes, and blows, and calling them no sweeter names than dogs. But they're the ones that they're the real dogs. Do not the scriptures say that Esau Edom is viler than the earth? Job said, the book of Job says that he wouldn't even put them next to their dogs. He wouldn't even put the Edomites next to their dogs, because they'll probably end up effing the dogs. That's how vile Esau Edom is. And I've done lessons on that. Esau Edom and his bestiality. Right? Needless to say, some Indians attempted to escape from this. They were hunted down with mastiffs, all right? When found, if not torn apart on the spot, all right, they were returned and a show trial was held for them. And for the edification of other Indians, all right, who were made to stand and watch, the escapees were brought before the vistador, all right, Spanish inspector magistrate, and the accuser, that is, the supposedly pious master who accused them of being rebellious dogs and good for nothings and demanded stiff punishment. The vistador, all right, then had them tied to a post, and he himself, with his own hands, as the most honorable man in town, took a sailor's tarred whip, as tough as iron, the kind they use in galleys, and flogged them until blood ran from their naked bodies. This is what Esau Edom has did to the Israelites, man. All right, mere skin and bones from starvation. All right, then leaving them for dead, he stopped and threatened the same punishment if they tried it again. This is great cruelty, man. Very, very great cruelty. And up until this day, Esau Edom never had to pay for this. So the Lord allowed him to build up all that wickedness, all these great atrocities, right? That they had brought against the children of Israel, the apple of the Lord's eye. So the Lord is righteousness in his doing, all right, when he comes back to slaughter, all right, Esau Edom. The scriptures say that the blood is going to be all the way up to the horse's bridle. The scriptures say that Yahushua, his vesture, is going to be like it was drenched in blood, like he came out of a wine press. That's metaphorical to how much bloodshed Yahushua is going to shed the blood of the Edomites, man. When you read Isaiah, the 63rd chapter, Revelation, the book of Revelation, man. All right, so the Lord allowed him to get away with all this, all right, that he has did to the children of Israel, all right. So the Lord's righteousness in his judgment against Esau Edom, right? Occasionally, all right, when the slaves were so broken by illness, malnutrition, or exhaustion unto death that they became incapable of further labor output, all right, they were dismissed from the mines or the fields where they worked. Las Casas estimated that perhaps 10% of the Indian conscripts survived long enough for this to happen. All right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna leave it right here. I'm gonna end it right here because I got somewhere to go. I got somewhere to be. So you know, if I come back, I'll continue this lesson. All right. So with that being said, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Ratazad, this lesson was edifying. All right. And on to the next one. Shalom.